Good morning, viewers. Good morning. Long time no talk. Okay, so I've got some questions for y'all. No, I haven't made a video in a while. But my question would be this, and of course my brothers and my sisters can participate. Because this is something that I've actually been discussing with my 12-year-old. I call him 12. He's not 12 yet. He's 11. He'll be 12 this year. But anyway, when is it the right time to be intimate with somebody? And how do we explain those type of things to our children? Do we explain those type of things to our children before they come and ask us about them? Let's go into further depth. What's my opinion on it? Well, hold on. Before we get to my opinion on it, is it ever okay to be intimate with somebody the first day or first date, first day of knowing them? What are some of the signs that gives the okay to be with that person? Do we come to the agreement that when you have sex with a person that it's a big deal? It involves spiritual connection. It could potentially involve the heart. Those sort of things. The reason I haven't been posting as much is because, I mean, they're excuses. I've had a lot of things going on at the moment. I always got, but see, that's the thing. There's always something going on. But it is good to return back to making videos. I had a person ask me if my page got shut down or something. I'm like, no, I just need to get back to making videos. Let's see. But I do. I've been thinking about doing this video for a while. And I know that men in particular have a different way of looking at it. But one thing, alright, so let's go into when you know it's a good time to have sex. You know it's a good time to have sex when you've both discussed and established your goals, like when it comes to conversation. My personal opinion, you don't truly know someone unless you've spent time with them. So you have to determine if they are worth having sex with. Are they worth the heartbreak? Are they worth the turmoil? Because back in the day, it used to be more of a bigger deal for women. Like, we would invest our hearts and our time, in men when we have sex with men, whether it might be the first date or, I don't know, 3 months, And back in the day, let's say mainstream, because I'm sure men had invested their hearts in certain women too, and the women just wasn't feeling the same way. But let's go back to what I was talking about. So the women would be heartbroken because they would feel like they gave themselves to someone and that person didn't love them back or something like that. But in today's world, it can happen to men, it can happen to women. Women have become, can be as callous as men can be when it comes to that. So you definitely have to be very careful with who you are intimate with. Like I said, this is something that I've actually been talking to my 12-year-old about. When it comes to sex and things like that, I've been really stressing the STD thing. But I told him the very first thing he has to worry about when he engages in these activities is the heart. The heart, the heart, the heart, the heart, the heart. I tell him that you should really potentially wait years till you get to know someone. But I know that there will be some viewers that would disagree with me on these things because that's unrealistic. A person may lose interest if you're waiting too long to have sex with them. They might think you're cowardice, and I haven't spoken to him about that yet. They might think you're cowardice. They might think you're just not interested. But the big deal is that there's an understanding. There's a connection. There's no miscommunication, because communication is everything. The miscommunication and communication is what makes the world go around. The miscommunication makes the world go around and cause dysfunction, you know. So it's important that you have the right connection and understandings. So yeah, right at this point in time, and I could change up what I tell my 12-year-old, but I told him potentially years, be friends with her first. Get to know sincerely what type of person she is before you engage in that thing. And keep in mind, once you do, what you have made your mind up in regards to wanting to have sex, keep in mind that you're putting your heart on the line. You might have to deal with STDs or pregnancy and things like that. So make sure you're 1,000% prepared for either of those three things, because they're all a big deal. Now, at me as an adult, I know that you don't necessarily have to wait that long, but you do have to know. For me, not everything is worth taking a leap. I'm not 1,000% open and blunt with my son, but I do share certain things with him. Like, for example, the way he was born. I tell him, I'm like, I didn't wait years or months or whatever with his father to have sex with his father. No, I didn't wait. But I told him I was also 15 when me and his father met. But I tell him, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made, So I'm just trying to give you the scoop of how you actually build with people. Like, if y'all are dating, y'all are an item, then the next move is to be intimate. But be somebody's friend first before you engage in sexual activity. We should be talking to our sons and daughters about sex. Unfortunately, the relationship I had with my parents, I could not talk to them about sex. I don't know why that was, but with my son, it's a little bit different. You ask my son what he thinks about a brother or sister, and he asks, oh, you're going to have sex with so-and-so? So we have somewhat of a more open relationship, And I didn't have that with my parents. I'm not sure why I didn't have that with my parents, but I do have that with my son, and I'm trying to use that to the best benefit. But I don't know. What do you think? Talk to me about when we should actually talk to our children about sex and go on. Because I do feel that we should thoroughly go through the pros and the cons of it all. Yes, you should be their friend for potentially years before you start dating or before you start having sex. Yes, because you don't know them, and she's going to be on her best behavior. You're going to be on your best behavior, which would make it completely difficult to know if y'all are really compatible, to know if y'all are really on the same level, to put everything at risk. Like I said, disease, well, first thing, the heart, I should say that, the heart or pregnancy or diseases, I should say. Now, children are going to make their own decision. Children, young men, Yeah, shoot, how do you say it? Hmm. Young men, young women, they're gonna make their own decision, no matter how much you how much you give your feedback. But at the same time, as long as you're able to give them the understanding of, what's what and what the consequences are, I think that's the biggest thing, the main thing. Not the parents living through their children, because I know parents do that a lot. I think I was a victim of that. Um, you want to teach your children. You want to teach your children what it takes to survive in this world. Um, you want to teach your children how to cook, how to clean, how to care for themselves, and whatnot. Because I think, as many as y'all know, like my subscribers, I think I've gone over this. I had parents who did everything for me, um, and that kind of put me in a difficult spot in my adulthood, because I expected those around me to do the same thing. So I'm trying to teach my son that he can't depend and rely on people. The only person he can depend and rely on is himself. And I'm kind of merging, like I always do. I'm kind of merging two subjects together, like I always do. Because I first started off talking about relationships, and then I started talking about how we should really um, mold our kids into greatness and try not to live through our children. But anyway, I'm gonna end this video. But what I would like from you is for you to let's discuss as adults. Okay, so when do you know that it's the right time to engage in sexual relationships? What is the process for you? What do you feel like the process for other people should be when it comes to being intimate with another person? When is the right time? And what are the steps do you take before you get to that moment of intimacy? Also, how do we go about discussing the subject with our children? How do we know when it's the right time to talk about sex and things like that? For me, I think that as soon as possible. Um, I started watching porn when between the age of 6 and 7. I started masturbating at that age too as well. Some people really feel that children who masturbate or watch porn or things like that have to be abused or have to be touched by adults, and that's completely untrue. I was doing these things by myself for a very long time. It wasn't until I started hanging around people who were losing their virginity where I started doing the same thing. But anyways, so yeah, let's go back to that. So just talk, when's the right time to talk to children? Well, one of the things that I wanted to talk about and discuss is that my son was potentially on the same path. Like, I don't know. I know that there are parents who believe that children should be able to explore their own bodies. And that depends. For me, it's a little bit different because as a parent, you don't want your child to embark on the same path that you did when you were a child. So I remember my son being months old and him having his hand down there. And when I saw that, I took his hand and took it off of it. I'm like, I don't want you to go through what I went through as a child, because when I came across porn accidentally, it kind of ruined my life. It kind of made me focus on those things. My son, if he has any problems, he loves his gaming. He's a gamer. He loves his gaming. He's kind of addicted to gaming a little bit. But in time, that's actually slowing down too as well. It's becoming more of his phone type of thing. But anyway, so yeah, as a mother, I saw that and I'm like, because it could have been something innocent. It could have been just a baby being curious about the Bible. I'm like, oh no, I'm not going through that. There was another situation. He was 5 or 6, and at the time, he had came across some porn on the internet, and what I ended up doing was making sure that the particular computer was erased of all porn and whatnot. I don't know who put it there, because at the time it wasn't only me who lived in the house, or we'd have people visit and things like that. But anyway, I ended up erasing all of the porn and whatnot. But he did try to look for it again, and he would turn the volume down, and he was 5, yeah, 4 or 5. He was 4 or 5 when he came across the porn. So right then and there, like that, he could have ventured into the life that I had, as a child or whatnot. And we just talked about this last night. We talked about this. I said you could have easily journeyed on the path that I journeyed through, which I wouldn't say my path is necessarily bad or good, but since he is able to kind of have his own journey, part of me isn't living through him. Not, at least not in that subject. I can better develop him into his own personal greatness. He doesn't have to suffer because of some of the issues in that subject that I went through. So yeah, the main thing is for me that I teach my son is making sure that he is able to take care of himself, cook, clean, have good behaviors, behavioral practices, being sure he's able to respect his parents, respect his elders and those who are older than him, being able to become more open to different foods. I do give my son an allowance, so to speak, where he's able to have like $1 a day at the max, and minimally 25 cents. But when it comes to disrespecting the elders or disrespecting mom or dad, I could take that full $1 away, because that's big. That's a huge thing. He has to deal with children who are younger than him, so it's important that he step into his role of leadership. And I explained to him that it's important to be able to listen to your elders, listen to your parents about certain things, because we've lived this life longer than you. We do know more about things more than you do. And how do you expect children who are younger than you to listen to you when you don't listen to your parent or your elder about certain things? Yeah, you have to learn a level of trust for them. But yeah, one of the other things that my son needs to open up to, he needs to open up to different foods. I've been transitioning him from eating meat, so he's coming along as a vegetarian. He just has to be able to be more flexible with meals, engaging with family. But anyway, I'm running out of time here. I gotta delete some videos off my phone. I'm marked at 19 minutes, 12 seconds. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Place your comments, questions, suggestions in the comment box. Otherwise, email me, triple.sky@gmail.com. Peace, love, and light to you. Have a great day.